platform. Okay, so that was Spark, and so check out Spark. The last thing that I want to showcase here is Photoshop, and what are we doing in Photoshop? So there's just two features that I think are most pertaining to you. The rest are more design related, and so I'll just skip those. So one of the features that I wanted to showcase here is 90% of the time, people who work in Photoshop use Photoshop to make selections, right? People, and which is why we spend so much time and created different ways of making selection to make selections a lot more easier. But I don't know how many people enjoy the process of making selections. It's quite, you know, maybe it's just me. I think it's, you know, it's a waste of time, to be honest. So what if we could get AI to come in and do that for us? And that is what we're doing with 2019 now. So when you use the selection tool in 2019 Photoshop, you'll see that there's a button up here called Select Subject. Now again, let me be very clear. This is good for certain kinds of images, and for certain kinds of images, it might not work. If your bride is dressed in black, standing against a black background, this is not going to work. Okay? So, but it's learning, and that's important. And so it'll only get better over time. So now, watch this. I don't have any layers here, this background, and so there's no trickery involved here. I've got this selected. I come in here, say select subject, give it a few seconds. You don't have to be online to do this, and you see that it's already made a selection for me. Now, of course, in this case, it's not perfect. As you can see, there are a couple of places where it could have done a better job. But again, this is meant to be more like an assistant. It's going to take you to about 80%. You put in that 20%. So in this case, I would then come to select and mask, and then I can come here and mask out that, add that 20%, until the system learns what you need and what is appealing. This is what you'd have to do. And then once I have that, I can also maybe add some decontaminate colors here and say OK to that, and that's my selection there. Now, so it's not only selections where we are helping Photoshop users. Many times, you'd have clients who say, you see that font? I want you to have my title in that font. Okay? And then what you have to do is you have to go online and search for that particular font. Some clients can be very picky, right? So what I want to do here is, now searching for a font also, tedious, time-consuming, manual process. Again, let's get AI to come in and help out here. And so another benefit of the Creative Cloud is that you get access to Adobe fonts, which is basically a big, a huge font repository, and you could use those fonts wherever you like. Now, if I want to find a particular font, I can come to the Type menu. We have something called Match Font right there. And what Match Font allows you to do is, I just say, OK, this is the font. I want you to find this font. And quickly what it does is it scans through my local system, and it's showing me a listing of all of the fonts similar to this font that are installed on my system. And then if I give it some more time, it goes online and searches through the Adobe font repository and then makes recommendations for the fonts in our repository which might match the one that you're looking for. And then if you want any of these fonts, you just click on download, and boom, it downloads, and then you can start using that font in your project, right? So that is something that you could use to find fonts. Another thing that's improved now in this version of the Creative Cloud in Photoshop, years back, I joined the company when it was 2010. I joined Adobe, and it was a very fun time to join because we had just released this amazing feature in Photoshop called Content-Aware Fill. And Content-Aware Fill was it was a rage. It was, many people didn't believe us after events and all that. It was actually a feature. And the reason why, so those of you who don't know what Content-Aware Fill is, Content-Aware Fill allowed you to do cleanups. So here, for example, picture of Lodi Garden in Delhi. There's always tourists there, no matter what time you go. I want to get rid of these people. So in the past, what we said was, all you have to do is make a selection around what it is that you want to remove. So let's say I want to remove these people first. Select them. And then we said, OK, just come down to fill. And then we introduced something called Content-Aware Fill. This was CS6 or something when we introduced this Content-Aware. And what Content-Aware did was it was an algorithm that automatically looked around the selection and automatically filled in pixels from there into the selection. So if you said OK to that, this is the result that came about. Now the problem in the past was, now why am I showing you a feature that's almost 8 years old? The reason I'm showing you this is because we've improved now this. So now in the past, for example, this is what would happen. It would give you a good result, but you never could predict, you never could tell the algorithm, don't pick those chapels up. I don't want those chapels in my fill, right? There was no way to do that. But now there is. So let me undo that. I'm just going to come back to edit. And you now notice that we have a content-aware fill. There's a separate panel now for it here. So if I select content-aware fill, you get two views. One is this preview monitor, which shows you what the final result would look like. And then we give you this on the side, which is basically, you know, a green area. So basically what this is telling you is everything that's green is what our algorithm is going to be using to copy and paste, to clone that area, basically. So now all I need to tell the algorithm is don't use the chapels, right? And so, just look at the live preview on the side here. So what I'm going to do is just click on it right here. And if you just give it a second, boom, you notice that it's gone. So now content-aware fill is a little more predictable than in the past, and you can use it with a much more easier to get a more desired result out of it. So that is basically the new improvement to content-aware fill. So on that note, just one last thing. If any of you are looking at creating anything photorealistic inside for your clients, maybe like a prop or something, we also have another new application called Dimensions, but unfortunately I don't have time to show this, but I just want to tell you what it does. So what this does is Dimensions allows you to take in any 3D model and photorealistically match it to any photograph in the background. So without getting into too much detail here, so for example, let's say you know, I want to create, take this coffee cup here, and now that's a 3D coffee cup, and let's say I need to match this against a realistic background. So let's say I take the city backdrop here. So now I have this background. Now typically what you'd have to do is you have to match the lighting and all of that. But again, here is where we're using AI to do all of that work for you. So you come to match image here. It will create an environment light, so the reflection matches, create a sunlight, so the key light shadows match, create a camera, match the camera perspective so it looks like the object was right there in the scene. All you have to do is say okay, and then boom, it automatically, you see now my cup has come on the ground, the lighting is matching, and everything is just complete. Now if I view a photorealistic render of that, that is what the final rendered output. You could do this for any sort of 3D objects you create in Photoshop. You could also bring that here. There are also some realistic materials. So let's say, for example, if I wanted to give some sort of a cardboard material. Now the good thing is, if you know Photoshop, you don't need to learn any 3D application to do this. You can, this has got a Photoshop tools on the left here. So for example, if I wanted to select, now this is the model with multiple objects. If I wanted to select just the cap to give it a plastic material, in Photoshop, you would use the magic wand tool to make a selection. Similarly here, I would select the magic wand tool, and then I can click on that cap, and you'll notice that it's now made a selection around that. So then I can come here and apply any sort of a material if I wanted to. So let's say I want to apply a plastic material, so I can, plastic right there, so I can select that and add it. I want to add some sort of a cardboard material to this paper, so I drag it right there, and then maybe another plastic material to the cup there, and that's it. And then if you want to put some artwork, your client's logo or something like that, just bring that in. So you can either say file, import image as place graphic on model. You can import any image, a PSD, AI, GIF, JPEG, whatever, and I can just click and drag it onto that 3D model, and that gives me you know, a realistic looking cup right there. And if I then finally render that out, this is the result that you could get. You could also adjust the lighting later on if you wanted to. So all of that control. I just want to show you how we're using AI within many of our tools to simplify tasks and make it a lot more make it a lot more easier. So anyways, guys, on that note, that's unfortunately all that I have time for. I hope this was useful for you. So do try out the new Lightroom. I think there's a 7-day trial that you can download online. Check it out. Mobile apps, all are free. So you can download them right now. Just use your free Adobe ID to access it. The only time you need a license is if you want to share anything from mobile and continue working on it on your desktop. That's the only time you need it. So otherwise, do check it out. Spark, completely free, as I mentioned. You can find more pricing options online on our website. And no, I cannot get you a discount on any of these products. So thank you so much for your time. I hope this was useful. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Guru. It was a pleasure having you. A little late, but excellent. I think the audience was all thrilled to see all that you did.
I also want to say sorry about the delay today.
No, absolutely not. I think. So, so after seeing all that Photoshop magic and knowing that that some of the software is actually many of it is in fact free to use, you only have to register, and and knowing that some of these packages are actually quite affordable, 676 rupees, I believe, for a month. It's quite affordable. The kind of advantages that a package like Adobe delivers to photographers like us is invaluable. And with that, thank you for being here. This is the final event of this session. Enjoy the rest of the evening. You can again have a round of tea outside. So thank you and all the very best.